Get right into it. The win at all cost mentality. How do you combat that? How do you deal with that? How do you deal with leaders that have that type of mentality? The first time that I had to deal with that was with my son. Um, when they're growing up and you play games with your kids, and when you play with them, they want to win at all costs. Like winning is the essence of their existence. And so when they're not winning, what they love to do is a couple of things. They like to manipulate by changing the rules. You're like, no, we got to play the rules. Then they start to become a distraction. They start falling on the floor. They start dropping stuff. And then you start getting frustrated as a parent. Like, come on, play the game, man. I'm winning. And then eventually they start whining. They start, just having a bad attitude about it. They want to win. Like, they see the greatness in if you win. Like, people say you're awesome, and they feel all that, and they learn from an early age that winning is means a lot. If it goes unchecked, that type of attitude, it can lead into a mindset that is a win at all cost mindset. Sometimes that will go into leadership. And here's where this now becomes a problem if it's not checked early on in development. The win at all cost mindset is great because it drives results. You're going to get your way. You're going to get your way for the organization. You're going to get your way for the people that you're working for. If you're in sales, you might get the biggest numbers. You might have all that stuff happening for you, and it feels good. It feels good to be on top. But there are some flaws to that. So let's talk about it. Number one, the first flaw is that because you are so focused and hyper-focused on winning, you may not realize the second and third order effects of what you're doing. So in the moment you may win, but maybe 6 months, a year, 5 years down the road, it's going to cause some consternation, and it's going to have a negative impact on an organization as a whole. So when you don't consider those consequences, it may appear to people that you lack compassion. And you'll say, no, I don't lack compassion. I wanted to win. But you tried to win at all costs, and you just didn't consider the future of what's going to happen. Because most leaders try to see what is going to happen down the line. They may not have all the answers, but they try. But if you have a win at all cost mentality, you're going to quickly make decisions because you want to win. And you're going to do tactics like manipulate and do things, but you won't take as much time into analyzing the second and third order effects. And that can hurt you in the long run. Number two, one of the most critical flaws in having this mindset is that you are open to having other people with the same mindset come in. We're all in it to win it. We're going to win it at all costs. We're going to do whatever. It's great. It's going to drive good results in the short term. But what it will also do is attract other people with a win-it-all mentality, potentially with an agenda that does not align with your own. They're going to do things that could potentially undermine your ability to get things done. But you won't notice it until it's too late, because you are so hyper-focused on winning at all costs. And that flaw could be the undoing of any organization. And because you want to win at all costs, your ego may not allow you to come to that realization that someone has come in and, for lack of a better term, did you dirty. Because you thought you were both on the same sheet of music, but their agenda was different. And that can sink any organization if you are not careful. How can I combat that? How can I try to ensure that I don't get caught up with winning so much that I lose focus and I lose sight? Number one, enlist advisors around you. Have mentors, have advisors around you who are not afraid to share their opposing view. And you have to be open to that. And you actually have to put your ego aside a little bit to actually listen to them. If you choose advisors who could come to you with very logical and critical thinking in a way to explain things to you, maybe those quick decisions for your mentality, I want to win at all costs, it could slow down a little bit, and you can actually take a moment to think just a little bit deeper before actually making that decision that can affect long-term progression. Number 2, try to be more compassionate and empathetic. Try to walk in other people's shoes. Try to understand it from their perspective. And that gets back to emotional intelligence. That gets back to being able to say, well, is my ego that big that I don't listen to other words of reason and take a moment to think about it? If you don't know how big your ego is, I've been saying for a while, check out Blue EQ. They do assessments, and you will know very quickly in about 15 minutes after taking the assessment where your traits lie on the emotional scale, and tools quickly to help you be a stronger leader, a more effective leader. But you have to be open to it. So those are things that you could do on the onset. Say you're working in an organization where your leader or supervisor is one that has a win-it-all mentality. How do you weather that? Because it could be very difficult. It could be very daunting. It can wear you out. It can fatigue you to a point where you're ready to quit. Number 1, don't quit. Don't give up. Don't give up on them, because they do want to win and they want to be the best that they can. So you have to approach it from that aspect. You have to somehow get to them and say, sir, ma'am, if this is what you want to do and want to win, I really recommend you consider this. Because if you do this, not only can you win, but you can also win in this point. And they'll listen to you. It may take a little bit. It may take more than one person. It may take a group of people to try to open the eyes of that person. But I don't want you to quit, because it's about performance of who you are. And you may not have a good leader, but you could be a good follower, and you could provide that feedback in all those venues. And try. Don't give up because you're exhausted. Work hard. It's about performance. Don't let, as I've been talking about before, don't let other things distract you from the actual mark that you're supposed to hit. And that's to be better, be a better person, make the organization better. Don't lose focus on that, even though other people are trying really hard to distract you. Those are my words of wisdom for today. Let me know what you think. We're trying to increase some emotional intelligence, y'all. And I know it's hard, but let's keep at it. Let's hold our ground and not reel back and allow people with less emotional intelligence to keep doing what they're doing. We're going to shatter the sky, folks. And this is how we're going to do it. We're going to hold our position. And we're going to do it with compassion, and empathy, and patience. That's what we're going to do. Let's go, folks. If you like the shirt, buy the merch. Check me out, All Things Merrill. # All Things Merrill. Let's go. I believe in you. Have a great day.